What's up everybody, this is Ryu, and in today's video we're going to talk about 3 pieces of information that I personally would like to see one of these stats websites or analytics platforms produce for Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Now, know going into this video, some of the things that I'm going to talk about might not benefit you as an individual player. They might not even benefit your team. They're things that I personally would like to see, but I do think that there's value beyond just me and my personal benefit for these pieces of information to be produced. So relax, this video costs you nothing but a little bit of time. Number 1. So the first one is super basic, and I think it would be fairly easy for some of these sites or platforms to produce. And it's just the average lifespan of players on a given map. The round timer in all competitive play nowadays is 1 minute and 55 seconds. What I would like to know is, how long does a player live on average on a given map? So let's take a very specific example. How long does Coldzera survive each round on cash? And if that is, he lives a minute and 55 seconds, it means he's dying at about the 55-second mark. I would like to know that information, and then I'd like to see that information compared to other players who play the same role, who are playing on his team or maybe against him on that specific map. I think it would be very, very interesting to see and to trend and to track over time to see how some of the best players in the world and some of the tier 2, tier 3 players in the world compare when it comes to how long into a round they survive. Now I know if you're not on a tier 1 team, you're not playing really good competition, for example, you're playing in North America, a lot of the teams here are going to play different, they're going to play fast, and so that stat won't be super valuable for all the people that are playing across the competitive Counter-Strike landscape. But I do think if you were to look at an event like ESL 1 Cologne, for example, and you were to say, hey, Coldzera lives 1 minute 20 on average. He lives almost the entire round on average, and then you were to compare that to maybe someone like Shroud, who was playing against that team, and you saw a huge disparity. Maybe that means he needs to play safer in the beginning of the round. Maybe it means he's playing super, super aggressive and it's not working, or Coldzera is playing aggressive and it's working. I just think it'd be a cool piece of information to have to know how long, on average, some of these players are surviving in a 1 minute and 55-second round. Number 2. The second piece of information is a bit harder to obtain. I totally understand that, so I don't think someone's going to be able to real quickly put this together. But I think if you tracked it over time, it would be really cool to see the most effective flashbang on a given map. What I would specifically like to see with this is, where is it thrown from, where is it thrown to, when is it thrown, and who throws it. Because if you look over time and you say, the most effective flashbang thrown on overpass is the one that goes from the connector area outside of B over into the B site and it lands behind the pillar, it gets thrown in 1 minute 2 in the round, and it has an 80% blind rate or whatever. That tells me that that's a really good flashbang. I should probably learn how to throw it if I don't already, and I'm probably going to include that or maybe use it more because just knowing how effective it is, historically speaking. I also think you could take this piece of information and apply it to the most effective Molotov thrown. I want to know what percentage of the time this Molotov does damage to a player, or does damage to a player who then immediately dies afterwards, because a lot of times Molotovs get used to push people out of position. I want to know where it's thrown from, and again, where it's thrown to, when in the round, etc. I think you could do a ton of information, but knowing the most effective grenade, when it's thrown, where it's thrown, who throws it, so you can go track it down, learn the lineup, I think that'd be super cool information to have. Number 3. Do you guys do 3 like this or like this? I think this is easier, but I went with this. Number 3. Now this third one I think has kind of been done before, but not in the way I'd like to see it. And it's simply, what are the best angles and the worst angles, or the best positions and the worst positions on a given map, played out over time? What I would like to see, and I think where this has kind of been done before, is you see heat maps that show this is where somebody's effective, this is where they're ineffective. I would like to see that over a period of time on a given map with most of the top teams, and then say hey, this position is extremely, extremely strong for CTs. Or this position is terrible for CTs, they get killed 9 out of 10 times. Super valuable information that you as an individual could use, your team could use, an analyst or someone like myself could use. I think it would be really, really cool and a very good, easy thing that someone should be able to produce, given that these platforms already exist and are already doing the heat mapping. And that's it. Those are the 3 pieces of information that were on the top of my mind today that I would love to see produced for Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Appreciate you guys watching. If you're new to the channel, would love it if you were to hit the subscribe button. Would be super, super appreciated. And if you guys have any comments, questions, complaints, insults, etc., please leave them in the comment section. Would love your feedback because it helps dictate the type of videos that I do. If you think a video like this is great, if you think demo reviews are great, if you think my vlogs are great, if you think they all suck, feel free to leave it in the comment section. I'll see you guys on the next video.